Hi, everybody. I think everything's working. Okay, let me make sure. We are on day 1869. 1869 days. Can you believe that? How long we've been doing this? It's just it takes like more than 3,000 letters. 3,000 cuz for the longest I was doing two a day, two a day for the longest, and I went down to one a day. Um Maybe I need to go back up to two a day, right? I keep telling myself I need to do two a day, because the news cycle is so fast. It's so fast, so much breaking news. It's really something. And now with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, it really is, it's happening. It's happening. Something, it just shook up everything. It just, you know, they, oh, they try to silence, but with their attempts to silence, they just wake up a sleeping giant. That's what they do. That's what they do. So let's see. Richard was forcibly removed from his barracks room 1,869 days ago, and he was brutally. They took his life brutally, and that was after they had retaliated. They used the system to retaliate. His chain of command were involved, were involved in this. And this is not me saying so. This is not me making allegations. This is evidence confirms. Evidence confirms. It has all been confirmed, and we're waiting for accountability. You can't have this kind of hard evidence that is is so compelling that you get a beautiful letter that's right behind me. Well, we received two, and more is happening. Um, you don't receive that kind of letter, um, without compelling, very compelling, mountainous, robust, hard evidence that we have spent a lot of money, because every letter is certified, a lot of money, um, sending in, filing. And many in El Paso would confirm that because they have been in receipt of those filings, and many in Washington, D.C. Well, really all over, all over. So they can confirm that. So let's see if everything is on and working. It says it's on. And I know I could do more with this. I just haven't messed with it to learn how to do it. Um, because everything is so fast. There's just no time to sleep, right? No time to sleep. And the important the important news has to get out. And because there's so many lies, the media lies all the time about everything. And I can't even imagine what this administration is dealing with, because we absolutely know, investigating our son's case for more than 5 years, that inside this government system is traitors. There are a lot of traitors. They're mutinous on top of that. They're not just aiding and abetting and leaking to foreign and domestic enemies. Um, and, you know, in the time of war, because it's been proven that the weapons, the monies for weapons going slotted for Ukraine went, more than 50% of it, to the Mexican cartel. Okay. So there is, a lot of mutiny, and those are traitors, and then there's mutiny, absolute individuals inside the system, a faction inside the system that is working against uh, President Trump. Okay. President Trump, absolutely working against President Trump and his administration. And that's why you see them sometimes looking at each other like, what? What in the world? Um, and we know that because the Walmart mass shooting was orchestrated um, well, we believe it was an absolute execution of some people. Probably some people that were whistleblowers or part of the cartel that no longer wanted to be in the cartel. I don't know all the details with that, but who shot Maria Eugenia the way they did. The way they did it was absolutely an execution, professional shot. And the same thing with Alexander Hoffman, who shot him. Was absolutely a targeted professional headshot. And it goes on. I think the Anchandos couple, and that needs to all, one day the investigation will really occur, and we'll know what happened to because we know Ernest Christopher Grant was a bad player. We know he's a bad player. He was arrested just recently. He was arrested just recently. We know that he was a liar. And, when I see Chris Cuomo on the news, I just want to barf because he's so violent. He's so violent. He was part of this Walmart mass shooting orchestration and fomenting the very, very vile and vulgar messaging that was false. It was a false message that was so divisive that would make people hate each other. And that's when you have violence. And that's what Chris Cuomo did. Chris Cuomo needs to be arrested because he absolutely drove the narrative against President Trump. He's one of those mutinous inside the media people. He's absolutely mutinous against President Trump. And I can't even imagine how President Trump feels with this fellow New Yorker, a long time. He's known that family a long time. And to be betrayed like that, violently betrayed, it was meant to do violence. Um, and so we know that the whole narrative about Patrick Crucius was all false. The whole motive for the Walmart mass shooting was all false. We know that this was orchestrated by a Mormon faction led, a Mormon-led faction. I'm not saying that everyone was Mormon, but I'm saying the faction was absolutely Mormon. And I would say that there were other outsiders that had interest to take, put the funds in for it because it costs a lot of money, right, to do this. It was bloody. It was absolutely bloody. And we know that they had reason because President Trump at the time, starting in 2017, was investigating everything around the border, including Walmart gift cards. And we know that he was wanting to shut down the border as far as not close it up like it's a closed country, but to vet who is coming and going, not to have it wide open, but to have a secure border, and there was a lot of investigating, and he had to investigate and audit Fort Bliss because he's commander in chief. That's his job. He would be a bad commander in chief if he didn't audit his own military that he was in charge of, right? That he was the commander in chief of. And let me tell you, was a lot of criminal trafficking on Fort Bliss. So much was stolen. If it wasn't bolted down, it was trafficked. So they were absolutely exploiting Fort Bliss. They were exploiting the border. They were absolutely trafficking everything, children, including children, and the Walmart mass shooting was absolutely a way to get a division in that area and against President Trump, to blame President Trump and to affect the election. And so when 2020 came, things were very, very chaotic. Of course, with the lockdown, with everything, and Richard was reporting. Richard was reporting starting in 2019 of all of this crime going on, including what had gone on with the Walmart mass shooting, because we have confirmed, it is confirmed, there's no question about it, that his unit is connected to those that were part of the orchestration of the Walmart mass shooting. That's not me saying it. I don't want it to be that way. I don't want it to be that. That is for me to have to get on here and say something like that. It's like, really? Really? But it's the truth. It's confirmed. It's hard evidence. And people need to know that our military was uh, absolutely so compromised that they would engage themselves with participating in the orchestration of a Walmart mass shooting. And we know that the big generals, General Kelly, absolutely is so dirty in all of this. And he was so dirty in all of this, he had to go and work for Governor Mauro Campos to square everything away, I guess. I guess he had to go over there, which is totally illegal. It's so illegal for him, a four-star general, even retired. But he knew that President Trump was the real deal. He worked side by side with President Trump. He knew he was the real deal. And because he was a wolf in sheep's clothing in President Trump's administration, he's one of those mutinous people I'm talking about. And how do we know? Because of being targeted by these people. We have absolutely been victims of them trying to make us shut up, right? And so we have followed the connections. We have um, identified the criminals and the crimes, and we have filed them. And we're telling you that hard evidence says General Kelly is so dirty in this, along with General Garrett, General McConville, General Mealy, of course, Lieutenant General Donna Martin, of course, Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe. He's still active duty. He needs to be stripped of his uniform, stripped of his stars, uh, you know, and because he is so criminal, he's such a traitor. He is such a traitor, serving foreign and domestic enemies, and absolutely doing whatever he can to be mutinous, do whatever he can to allow this border to be open, to think under his command. Hundreds of thousands of children were trafficked on Fort Bliss, through Fort Bliss, through Fort Bliss. They were trafficked. I think the death penalty needs to be on the table for Sean Bernabe. Absolutely. And then he lied to us about a Palestinian arms dealer named Nadal Baim. He lied to us and said he was a nobody. And he was absolutely the father in law of Lieutenant Colonel Bradford Bugado in the G3 of the 32nd ADCOM. Um, Richard's command, right? And totally connected to the cartel, totally connected to the FTO cartel, and Sean Bernabe is protecting him. This is like the ultimate traitor, the ultimate traitor. Sean Bernabe is. And I need to post again about him because he absolutely needs to be taken away in handcuffs, stripped from every benefit, every benefit. My grandson even has some ideas of what we should do to these traitors, to these very evil, evil people. And I'm like, oh, you're pretty good. You're pretty. My one grandson has a birthday with Charlie Kirk. Has the same birthday with Charlie Kirk. Um, and that tells you our families in that same spirit, allies, Christian allies, Christian family with the Kirks, with the Turning Point USA, what they're trying to achieve. And absolutely. So we need to get to what Charlie Kirk would say about all of this on the border. And of course, he knew about it. Of course, he did. And, uh, and his whole goal was to reach out to the new generation, to these young adults, these colleges that were being psyoped. They were being psyoped. They were being fed and taught a lot of lies. Why do you think we're so in tune with Charlie Kirk? He never went to college. And our children, we never pressure. You find a way and make a way without having to go to the institution and be brainwashed and be propagandized and be hypnotized, be led astray. And so we definitely understand Charlie Kirk. And he was absolutely at 31 so successful, right? So successful, and in a good way, with a humongous uh, a, a legacy you can never forget, a legacy that no one will ever forget. Everything that he's accomplished at the age of 31. Can you imagine all the good that he would have done? And that's what makes this Tyler Robinson, the alleged shooter, eh, so criminal. And when you what he kept us, the blessings that he kept us from by doing this dirty deed. And let's wait. There's a lot of things going on right now about this investigation, about all the co-conspirators. And early this morning, it seems so long ago, talking about that there's all around this, in and out, up and down, in and out, all around. There's co-conspirators everywhere, everywhere. This is not a lone shooting. This is a lot of co-conspirators, and those ties lead to the Mormon faction in El Paso, and that's really what I just posted about, is that you have a very powerful FBI assistant FBI um, in the in charge, right? In charge in the El Paso field office, that gets a confession from a convicted criminal, also a prime suspect in the murder of a U.S. Army soldier, Fort Bliss whistleblower on top of that whistleblower. And it absolutely states, she confesses in it, and I'm talking about Leilani Hart, that she has facilitated and failed to report for decades child the worst type of crimes against children, the worst type of crimes against children, and that in her household it's been going on for decades, and it involves Dallas Hart, her son, who's active duty soldier, platoon leader in Richard's unit, Richard's platoon leader, and a unit that is connected to the orchestration of the Walmart mass shooting and the cover up, all the cover up. So this is uh, uh, no, I'm just reading Laura's here. Are they going to get away with it? Look, you know, one thing with all of this, you think about Colin Whitten, the FBI, that just looks the other way, that covers up, that, I mean, it is so bad. It's so bad, right? And so many children, because of what he did. Because remember, she submitted that in July 22nd, 2020. The Turbo Force child trafficking went starting 2021, March 2021, when they built the emergency intake center. They were doing it before then. They had smaller intake centers, but it really went turbo force in 2021. And so, because of what Colin Whitten didn't do, what he should have done, and what he didn't do, it allowed hundreds of thousands of children, a lot of them, to lose their life in a most gruesome way, being exploited in a most gruesome way. And he needs to be held accountable for that. It's not only the aiding and abetting of foreign and domestic enemies, serving in the FBI, living in the safety of El Paso while your loyalties are in Juarez, because the Mormon temple is in Juarez, and strategically so. I mean, there's so much that we have to address that they've been getting away with, as you would want to say, for a long time. But you have to remember, as a Christian, our victory is already won. We don't work for victory. We work from victory. Our victory is already won, y'all. We are winners. We are winners, and we work from the victory that we know we have. And that, yeah, yeah, it's amazing, right? It is really amazing. So, the psyop is, they get away with it. No, no, that's a psyop. That's, they'll never get away with it. They haven't gotten away with it. It's already written in the book that they haven't gotten away with it. And so we work from victory. And that's why we have gotten this far, because of the blessings of God, because of the victory that He won for us already. And we can be fearless, and we can have, that gives us courage. That gives us courage. And this is the message that Charlie Kirk wanted to give the young people, right? But this Mormon faction in El Paso have a different message for the young people. And it is a message of abuse. It is a message of the worst type of crimes against children. It is a message of theft, of extortion. It is a message of getting over on people. It is like being on that train, watching a young girl get stabbed in the neck and not doing anything, right? This is the message that the Mormon faction gives. And so when you hear about this transgender stuff, the furry transgender, and everything else that goes, they say, oh, that's the moral decay. That is a result of the moral decay, the result of the moral decay that is causing so much mental chaos and turmoil, and anger, and then violence, and it turns into violence, and then you have assassinations, right? But the real cause is the Colin Whittens. When you have a when you have a clear-cut case of a confession of the worst type of crimes against children, with all the evidence, and there's all this evidence, right? All this evidence, because don't forget, the Hart family were running the Hart child care the heart child care. So there's all this evidence. And when you have FBI assistant agent in charge looking the other way, or using their eraser and trying to erase it or cover it up, or file it somewhere very, very deep and never ever looking into it, um, that is the cause of the violence that ended Charlie Kirk's life. It's the carnal Wittens that end the life of the whistleblowers, the ones that want to stand up for what is right and what is good. And this whole assassination, to me and to our family, was a absolute message to the young Mormons that were watching, that were absolutely traumatized, that were terrorized with the full effect of a neck shot right to the artery that spewed the life of Charlie Kirk. Okay, ended the life of Charlie Kirk. Spewed, because the life is in the blood, right? And it just spewed out, and they right in front of their eyes. And it was absolutely traumatizing. This was a psyop. This was absolutely a message to young people that they can't have hope, that they can't work from a place of victory, that they have to endure the abuse, that they have to endure the exploitation, that they have to endure the criminal trafficking, that they have to endure the fraud, that they have to give all the appearance of going along and happily being there, taking all these pictures, right? They do all these pictures. Um, but in reality, to have none of it. And I think that this case of Tyler Robinson and his whole life, having everything given to him, but yet undercover, something was very, very wrong. And more and more information is coming out, but we already have it with Lolani Hart's confession of what goes on behind the scenes that is so bad, right? Of what they do. And so let's read through some of these comments. Exactly. They're not religious extremists. Uh, they are absolutely, okay, so let's look at it from a biblical point of view. Who are those that want to mock God? And that's what they do. They mock God. This Mormon faction absolutely mocks God. How do I know? Because they wrote it to me in vile and vulgar messages. They wrote it to me. We have the hard evidence that they are vile and vulgar, and all they care about is being depraved. Their belly is never full enough. They get more and more depraved, and this is what this criminal trafficking is. This is what the worst type of crimes against children are all about. Even being furry, I don't know what that's about, but I just can't even imagine. Um, they're never. It's never enough. The gruesomeness of their actions is never enough. They always seek a lower gruesome something. It's a spiraling down, right? And so when you're hearing about the transgender or the furry transgender and everything else, no, look towards El Paso. look towards that border, because that border, they will do anything to keep that border open. And that is why they hate President Trump, because he wants a secure border. That is why they hated Charlie Kirk, because he wanted a secure border. He was America first. He was Turning Point USA, right? That's uh, that border is, they will do anything for to keep that open and to keep the trafficking flowing, because it's like water that they need. It's like the life that they need. They're like vampires. They're like vampires. And um, and this is a Mormon-led faction. There are others in it, but the majority are Mormon faction, and the big money. Like, I mean, Woody Hunt runs El Paso. Okay, he runs El Paso. He owns so much. He could do so much good. He could stop it right away. He could secure that border right away. Just go and look what all he has done, and all the influence that he has is huge. Governor Abbott rides on Woody Hunt's planes to come and visit to El Paso. Okay, Woody Hunt is the Mormon faction that has allowed this destruction of El Paso. Um, and that destruction of El Paso means that they are creating an environment where the young people say, okay, they can get away with it. Okay, they can get away with it. I can't say anything because whistleblowers get retaliated against to the worst degree. Um, Look what they did to Richard Halliday, right? That's the message. Look what they did to Charlie Kirk. That's a message. This is how they. This is the message that's given to the young people. They haven't been told that the victory is already ours, and that we operate from the position of that victory, and that they have already lost. We know they've already lost. These criminal traffickers and all the evildoers, and so they are like uh, the battle between uh, Archangel Michael and Lucifer, right? Lucifer was so beautiful, right? Lucifer, and there's, the temples. It's not like there are little holes in the ground, right? Um, eh, so Lucifer was given everything, but it wasn't enough. They were so greedy. Uh, Lucifer wanted more. He wanted more. He wanted the throne of God. And people have to understand, this is so real. This is not made up. This is not made up. This is real. And it's playing out right in front of our eyes, that these people, no matter what you give them, they're never satisfied. They want to be as God. One of the people we've researched, now I won't name names, but they were married. The Mormon faction, they'll do something like in the temple where you're married eternally. For Christians, we're not married for eternally. We're married unto death, right? To death do us part. We only are married unto death, because after that in heaven there is no marriage, right? That's what we believe. But the Mormon faction don't believe that. They can go, and I guess they pay big money. They can get a seal on their marriage that is for eternally. But you know what? The one family we investigated, that's part of this whole case, um, that were married like that, they're already divorced. They're already divorced because one was caught in the worst type of crime. It was so bad, worst situation, that the divorce file had to be sealed. It had to be sealed. So, this is, uh, just, I don't know, a lot to comprehend, a lot to understand. But when people ask, how could someone do an assassination? How could they get that angry, right? It must be that they're mentally ill. No, the environment has been unjust. There's no justice there, and so the anger has developed, has been groomed in them, that they're just so angry because they see no justice, and they have to put up with all these terrible crimes against children, and against the economy, and against the system, and against the theft and everything. They have to live with that. It makes them bitter. It makes them very angry. And that's why they lash out. They lash out when they hear someone say, you know, things that Charlie Kirk has said, because they don't understand that he comes from a position of victory, okay, of winning, of already winning. And so they don't understand that, and it makes them angry. It makes them very angry. And this is what happens. So it's just like, when they write me, these evil people in this case, how can you be doing this for so long? You need to go away. And they'll say all kinds of cuss words and everything like that. And I just say, get behind me, Satan. Get behind me, Satan. So, what are they? They are like Satan, right? They are like Lucifer. And in my mind, I see Archangel Michael with this magnificent spear in one hand, and the scales of justice in the other hand, and his wings just out beautiful like a phoenix. And he is, 1 foot on the head of Satan, and ready to put that spear right in the brain, and the head of the evil. That's how I picture these people. They've already lost. Um, you know, uh, Archangel Michael is already upon them. It's already upon them. It's already over with. So, and they come with their angels. And of course, uh, you know, um, we have this time that we don't understand, at times and a time, right? That we, and, I can address that too one day. But, uh, you know, uh, but their time is limited. Their time is very, very limited. Our time, because we're coming from victory, is eternal. And that's why we have so much courage, right? That's where the courage comes from, is because, uh, we can sing the hymns, the great hymns, knowing that we already have victory. And we can sing the battle hymns, and we can sing the Te Deum Laudamus, and just have the joy even under in this battle that we're fighting. And it is wicked. It is absolutely wicked. But we've come a long way. We've come a long way, and everything is lining up. You see that everything is lining up, and now we're getting to the main point of what is causing this crime, and it is because law enforcement, like Connell Winton, is looking the other way and not doing their job, and not holding the criminals that are engaged in the worst type of crimes against children, criminal trafficking, murder and cover up, all of those things, orchestration of this exploitation, all of these crimes, that he is not holding them accountable, because they belong to the same Mormon faction that he does. And they have some other agenda, and he has to drive over to Mexico to plan and conspire and everything over there, because that's where his loyalty is, because that's where the temple is. So, this is really all being coming out. It's very transparent now, and it's very, it's very connected to the Tyler Robinson assassination, alleged assassination of Charlie Kirk. And uh, it's helping us do what? Get accountability and get Richard's remains. Get accountability and bring Richard's remains home. That is the goal. So thank you so much. We have to expose this in order to affect a change so that we can bring our son's remains home and get accountability. Okay, so Miss Vanessa Guillen, God is good and we have our heroes guiding us. Yes. They can conspire against innocent people that won't submit, yet they are free walking, trying to smear good human beings. God help us get them all right. And we need to get Connell Winton out and bring someone in that will do the job. And we pay their wages, so of course we need to get him out. So get on the horn with Kash Patel and say, get Connell Winton out. Matter of fact, he needs to go out with handcuffs, right? Because of the crimes he's committed. So yes, and they work from a place of deception. We work from a place of victory. They work from a place of deception. And that's very important because they're very good at what they do. They're very good. They'll just, oh, I'm your friend or whatever. But I think we got their playbook now, right? But we have to be very, very vigilant because that's why they're mutinous, because of their deception. So thank you so much. I wish people would share and like, just like you, FitFam. Well, we own FitFam. I don't know if you know that. We own FitFam. The name of it. Of course, we've been. That's a long, long story. How that all happened, and just the people running it right now are doing that illegally. They're doing that illegally, and it's intelligence. It's yeah. Yep. Yes. hmm it's been a long journey, and all of that's going to matter. Well, it all matters. It all matters, and it's all coming out. Um, and I think, well, let's just, God is in control. Let's see what God has in store for us, because He has in store for us way better things than we could even imagine and want for our own selves. And that's another lesson that I've told myself over and over again is, Pat, He has something better for us than what you want. So just keep going, just keep going, and let him do his work, his work. And thank you so much. God bless you. And I will be back tomorrow, God willing.